So, following up on the question, would you rather be wealthy and unhappy or poor and happy? I've been sitting with it. So, I'm a trauma therapist turned boundary coach because the way that I was doing therapy wasn't working. And so, boundary coaching has been about healing emotional and psychological boundaries for me and my clients. And part of that has to do with decolonizing everything that I learned and have been taught. And so, I've been sitting with the word wealthy and poor. And what I felt into was that poor has the connotation of like dirt poor, like working class, not a lot of power, not a lot of access to privilege. And so I'm holding that ancestral like marking of it. And wealthy has the feeling of like marble and lots of extra space and servants and manicured lawns and lots of downtime to instruct other people on what to do to manage the home. So the ruling class is the energy that I feel into. And so the question of would I rather be wealthy, right, and unhappy, that's basically what everyone's trying to do, is to emulate the ruling class, who are, honestly, can you just sit with this for a second, incredibly unhappy. Because if you're happy, you would not be hoarding. I mean, really, honestly, if you were really happy, you would not be mean. You would not be not connected to your humanity. You would understand that you were part of a larger whole, right? You would understand that your value is not contingent on your asset growth or your return on investment, that your contentment, your essence, your being is not contingent on anything. Okay? So there's nothing shameful about needing to work, especially if your work is aligned to your purpose and why you're here on the planet. And so would I rather be poor and happy or rich and unhappy? And my hands down response is I would rather be happy and perceived as poor, because in my bones I would know that my nervous system understands how to be happy, because to be happy and content means I am connected to community, I am connected to my higher purpose, I am connected to the land, and I steward her. I not only steward the land to take care of, I take care of each other, because I understand that my liberation, my happiness is connected to everybody else's. And I think that's one of my resistance. And for a lot of my clients, their resistance to being wealthy has to do with the blood that's been connected with perceived richness, right? So perceived richness is how the working class emulated their wealth, right? By not working, the ruling class emulated their wealth by taking advantage of others, right? Thinking that they were better than and had more rights and privileges than other people. And one of the things that I've had to work on within myself and my clients is to unlearn what wealth means, in that it's not about money. Money's neutral, right? Money's not bad. Money represents abundance. There's a negative association to it because money, what ruling class have had to do to hoard resources, is tied with blood, is tied with colonization, has been tied to land theft, has been tied to overproduction. And so, hands down, I would rather be perceived as poor and happy, knowing that happiness is tied to everyone else's liberation.